city streets were slick with snow, the neon lights reflecting off the frozen sidewalks like shards of broken glass. Inside the towering glass and steel office building, the hum of computers and fluorescent lights contrasted sharply with the world outside, quiet and cold. Jonathan Mercer, the CEO of Mercer Industries, sat alone in his corner office, his tie loosened, staring blankly at the city skyline. Christmas Eve had never felt emptier. His usual entourage of assistants, advisors, and security were gone for the evening. Even the soft hum of the cleaning crew was absent tonight. The office, typically buzzing with energy and ambition, now seemed like a mausoleum of solitude. Jonathan's fingers drummed against his mahogany desk, but the rhythm was hollow. His heart felt equally hollow, a cavernous emptiness that no amount of wealth, power, or accolades could fill. He remembered the Christmases of his childhood, the smell of cinnamon and pine, the laughter of his parents, the warmth of family gatherings. Those memories were now faint echoes, like distant radio static, unreachable and faint. Jonathan's father had been a harsh man, a business tycoon who valued profit over people, and his mother had been a shadow in the background, always accommodating, always silent, both gone now, both taken by time and circumstance, leaving Jonathan to inherit not only the empire, but the loneliness that came with it. A soft knock at the door startled him. "Come in," he muttered without looking up. The door creaked open and a little girl, no more than 7 or 8, stepped cautiously into the office. She was bundled in a bright red coat, her cheeks pink from the cold. Her wide, innocent eyes scanned the room, finally resting on the man at the desk. "Hi," she said quietly. "Are you sad?" Jonathan finally looked up, surprised. I'm fine," he lied, forcing a tight smile. The girl stepped closer, her small hand clutching a worn teddy bear. "You don't look fine," she said, her voice matter-of-fact, almost startlingly perceptive. "You're crying inside, aren't you?" Jonathan blinked, unsure whether to be amused, annoyed, or disturbed. Who are you?" he asked cautiously. "I'm Lily," she said. "I live down the street. I saw you crying through the window." Jonathan's stomach twisted. Crying through the window? That meant she had been watching him. The thought was unsettling, but strangely comforting, too. He leaned back in his chair, staring at the little girl. Why are you here, Lily?" She took another small step forward. "It's Christmas Eve. Nobody should be alone on Christmas Eve. My mom says everyone needs someone to care about them." Jonathan's chest tightened. He was alone. Completely alone. His employees had gone home to their families. His friends, if he could call them that, were too busy with their own celebrations. And yet here was this tiny stranger insisting on entering the fortress of his life. I don't know what to say," he murmured. Lily tilted her head. "You don't have to say anything. You just need to not be sad." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "You can borrow my mom." Jonathan froze. The words were so simple, so innocent, yet they struck him like a lightning bolt. Borrow her mom? What did that even mean? And yet, the idea of someone caring for him, even for a moment, seemed almost miraculous. I can't," he stammered. Lily shook her head, her tiny curls bouncing. "Yes, you can. She makes the best cocoa, and she tells stories that make the sad go away. You just have to come with me." Jonathan wanted to refuse, to maintain the control he clung to like a lifeline. But the raw honesty in her eyes, the unfiltered innocence, broke something inside him. Before he knew it, he was standing, pulling on his coat, and following the little girl into the snowy night. The streets were quiet, only the sound of snow crunching underfoot, and distant car horns breaking the silence. Jonathan kept glancing at Lily, marveling at the way she navigated the icy sidewalks as if she belonged there. She led him down a narrow alley, around a corner, and finally to a small, warmly lit apartment building. Lily's small hand was steady in his, guiding him to a door she unlocked with a key hidden under a flower pot. "Come on in," she whispered. Inside, the apartment smelled of pine, cinnamon, and fresh-baked cookies. It was cozy, cluttered, and chaotic in all the right ways. A woman emerged from the kitchen, her face lighting up when she saw Lily. "Lily, who's this?" "This is Mr. He's sad," Lily said bluntly. "Can he borrow you for Christmas Eve?" The woman, tall with kind eyes and a warm smile, raised an eyebrow. "Borrow me?" "Yes," Lily said firmly. "Just for tonight. He needs a mom." Jonathan stood awkwardly, feeling ridiculous and exposed, but the woman didn't question him. She simply smiled, gestured to the couch, and began preparing cocoa. The little girl sat next to him, tugging at his sleeve. "See? Moms make everything better." Hours passed in a blur. Jonathan listened as the woman told stories, laughed at Lily's antics, and offered him cocoa that warmed him from the inside out. He hadn't felt this alive, this cared for, in decades. Tears came unbidden, and for once he let them fall. Lily didn't judge. The woman didn't judge. They simply let him be human. "Why are you crying?" Lily asked at one point, her small hand patting his arm. I forgot what it felt like to be cared for," he admitted. Lily's eyes were wide. "Then don't forget tonight. You can borrow love whenever you need it. You just have to ask." The night deepened, snow piling against the windows, and Jonathan realized he had found something money could never buy: connection, warmth, and unconditional kindness. He knew he would have to return to his empire, to the life of deals and deadlines, but he would carry this night with him forever. The next morning, Jonathan awoke in a guest room in Lily's apartment. Sunlight streaming through the curtains. He felt the strange, almost terrifying urge to stay, to let go of his fortress of wealth and power, and simply be part of this little family. But he had responsibilities, empire-sized responsibilities that couldn't be ignored. Lily was already awake, bouncing on the bed beside him. "Mister, you stayed." "I did," he said, his voice hoarse from the previous night's tears and laughter. "Thank you for letting me borrow your mom," she grinned. "You can borrow her any time, but you have to promise to come back too." Jonathan hesitated. "I don't know if I can." "You can," she said simply, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "Just remember, Christmas isn't about being alone. It's about finding people who make you feel like you belong. And you belong with us, mister. At least sometimes." He knelt and hugged her, feeling the tiny body shake with giggles and sobs, and realized that for the first time in decades he felt whole. He didn't need to conquer the world tonight. He didn't need to win another deal. He simply needed this connection, this family, even if it was borrowed for a fleeting Christmas Eve. Years later, Jonathan would look back on that night as the turning point. The night a little girl taught a hardened CEO the power of kindness, of family, and of letting himself be human. And he would always remember her words, simple and innocent. "You can borrow my mom." They had saved him in ways he never imagined, reminding him that even in the coldest, most lonely places, warmth could be found in the most unexpected hearts. That Christmas Eve didn't just break his isolation, it shattered it completely, leaving behind a man who, for the first time, understood that real wealth wasn't measured in dollars but in love, laughter, and the courage to let oneself belong. Jonathan stepped out into the chilly morning air, the city alive with Christmas bustle, and felt a strange dissonance. The world was moving on, indifferent to the private miracles that had unfolded in a small apartment the night before. People hurried past, their breath fogging the air, bags of gifts in their hands, but none of them noticed him. None of them saw the transformation that had begun inside him. For decades he had been invisible to himself, a ghost wandering the corridors of power. Now for the first time he felt seen, but as he walked back toward his office, a nagging sense of unease tugged at him. What if this feeling, the warmth, the belonging, was fleeting? What if the world he had built, the empire of steel and glass, pulled him back into isolation before he could savor this newfound humanity? He arrived at Mercer Industries and was greeted by the usual flurry of assistants and staff, but their faces blurred into a gray haze. The gleaming trophies of success, the awards, the contracts, all of it seemed trivial, almost grotesque, compared to the laughter and genuine affection he had experienced. Jonathan realized he had been living a lie, one meticulously crafted to hide the hollow void inside him. Hours passed in a surreal blur. Meetings were scheduled, calls returned, decisions made, but Jonathan's mind was elsewhere. He kept seeing Lily's small, earnest face, the way she had insisted he could borrow love as if it were an object he could simply take. He wondered if it was possible to hold on to that innocence, that raw, unfiltered humanity, in a world defined by greed and power. Late that afternoon, a knock on his office door startled him. "Yes?" he called. His assistant, a young woman named Clara, stepped in, eyes wide. "Sir, there's a little girl here asking for you. She says it's urgent." Jonathan's heart skipped. Could it be? He rose slowly, almost trembling, and followed Clara down the corridor. There, standing in the lobby, was Lily, her cheeks rosy from the cold, clutching her teddy bear. "Mister," she called out, running toward him. "I told you I'd come back." Jonathan knelt down to her level, a mixture of relief and fear washing over him. "Lily, why are you here?" "My mom said you might need some more borrowing," she said simply, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. She said some people forget what love feels like and need reminders. "You need reminding, mister." The words hit him like a punch to the chest. He felt tears sting his eyes, but this time they were different, not just of longing, but of awakening. I don't deserve this," he whispered. Lily shook her head, her curls bouncing. "Yes, you do. Everyone deserves it. You just have to let it in." In that moment, Jonathan made a choice. He took Lily's hand and led her to the corner office where they had spent the night before, in his imagination, in dreams, in a memory of warmth that had never truly existed. He gestured to a chair. "Sit, tell me about everything." Hours passed. They spoke of small things, Lily's favorite cookies, her mother's silly stories, the snowflakes that stuck to window panes like crystal stars. But beneath it all was a profound truth. Connection didn't wait for the perfect moment. It demanded courage, vulnerability, and the willingness to be changed. Jonathan, the CEO who had once feared appearing weak, now realized that real strength was in opening his heart. As the sun set and the city lights flickered on, something shifted inside him permanently. He understood that Christmas wasn't a date on the calendar, nor was it measured in gifts or celebrations. It was measured in moments of courage, when a hardened soul allowed itself to be human, when the walls built over decades crumbled beneath the weight of pure, unselfish love. Lily climbed onto his lap, resting her head against his chest. "You're not crying anymore," she said softly. Jonathan hugged her tightly. "No," he said. "I don't think I will, not like before. Because now, I know what it feels like to be seen, to be cared for, to belong." And in the quiet of the Mercer Industries office, amidst the buzz of computers and distant city noise, Jonathan felt a warmth that no fortune could buy. He realized he had inherited something far more valuable than wealth or power. He had inherited the capacity to be loved, to love, and to finally, irrevocably feel alive. He would never forget that little girl who had dared to enter his fortress of loneliness and offered him the most radical gift imaginable, the permission to be human. And he would never forget her mother, whose warmth had melted the ice around his heart, showing him that even the coldest, most isolated soul could be saved by the simplest acts of kindness. As the evening descended into night, Jonathan whispered quietly to himself, almost afraid to disturb the fragile beauty of the moment. Thank you for letting me borrow love." Lily giggled, a sound that would haunt and heal him forever. "You don't have to borrow it anymore. You can have it, all of it. Just remember to give some back." Jonathan looked out the window at the snow falling gently, painting the city in white, and for the first time in decades he didn't feel alone. He felt connected, alive, and most shockingly of all, hopeful. For the first time, Christmas was not a reminder of what he lacked, but a testament to what he could finally embrace: family, love, and the unexpected miracles that could arrive on a snowy night, carried by the smallest hands and the purest hearts.